Greetings, everybody. We're back around the table today to continue talking about this knife that's on the table.
The dog bone.
Hey, throw a dog a bone, man. Come on.
It's
Don't
you
do
can
that.
leave.
No, it's too far. I've gone too far.
So yeah, continuing to look at the Spyderco 100 Pacer.
You should really put a sensor bar on that thing.
Okay, yeah, let's get it out of the way. It's ugly. Okay, everyone thinks
You gotta
it's
say.
ugly.
Yeah,
It's ugly
that's-
when it's open. It's ugly when it's closed.
It's uglier when it's closed. which is
Spyderco has
special.
made their reputation on ugly.
Yes. But yeah, if you go back and watch or haven't seen, and go back and watch the first episode that we did on the Sky, that was pretty much the major thing with all of our scores. What brought it down was the aesthetics of this guy.
the personal side of things took a dive on all four categories.
Pretty hard.
But the objectives, we have to give it credit. All of us were just no, for what this is,
and
It's
what
a functional knife for sure.
yeah.
And what is this really? But modeled after a snake's fang, which they're aiming towards.
It's not even a fang. If you look at the 100 Pacer, it's the nose, the viper.
Right.
Thing. It has this
I forgot how
really
aggressive that was.
forward
Right.
Thing on its
It's like a
nose.
hog nose or something.
And that's where the
Okay.
blade shape comes from. And that's
Fair
why
enough.
on the
Okay.
Tuesday thing I was saying for the motif of what these guys were wanting. Paul, open your beer. Jesus Christ.
I was trying to find an opportune moment.
I know.
Yeah.
It's terrible. For what it is, that's why I gave it a little bit more on, I think it was the aesthetics, just because I can appreciate that on the Tuesday episode, right? Compared to the rest of you guys, which dropped out some
I
tunes.
gave it a 4.
Yeah.
I like
I think I gave it a 6.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but yeah.
I like a lot of the knife, but just the package together, I'm just not a fan of.
He doesn't like the package.
Not this package.
But again, and I know we're talking about an EDC environment, but for what this knife is designed for, some sort of tactical martial arts striking.
Okay,
Me and
that
Nigel
knife-
have had extensive conversations about reverse grip.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that-
it feels better in reverse than it does in forward grip.
Absolutely, it does. But the same thing as when we did the Native Chief, we're reviewing it as an EDC blade first, right?
Yeah, but I think that is honestly because we didn't know going in that it was going to be more of a tactical setting type of knife, and we discovered that in our review. Whereas I think we knew going into this review.
With a
It's
name
pretty
like
obvious.
100 Pacer with a
Yeah.
blade that shape, absolutely.
Oh, and I have to say as well, the fact that the 100 Pacer snake is mainly in Taiwan, which is also where this knife is made.
It's kind of cool.
It's kind of fun. It's
Yeah.
kind of fun, right?
Makes me
Makes
laugh.
sense.
Yeah. If it was Golden, Colorado, they'd be like, we've never heard of that snake.
We got lots of snakes. That's not one of them. Yeah.
No. So just touching on the fact that it is definitely a little bit more of the tactical sort of style knife. In that mindset, I kind of actually do like the knife.
Right. If you were to carry a knife for
Yeah.
self-defense, you think you would enjoy it?
Hypothetically in Canada, because we have to disclaim that
Of
before
course.
we get into
Yeah.
this
Well,
conversation.
yeah, absolutely. But
If I was down in Brazil or
Disclaimer.
yeah, but yeah, it's not an EDC knife to me. I can't see much easy way to have a practical use for this.
that was my main problem, was the blade seems so swept back. Like, I could use that portion of the blade. The rest of this would almost never get used unless I'm doing some kind of weird sort of like pinchy, cutty weirdness.
Don't grip shame us.
You know me.
And I hate how this guy feels in forward grip because it locks you in with that pinky so well that it's a very pistoly, very slashing knife.
Slashing.
Which,
Yeah, it is.
again, for a self-defense knife. Okay,
For
so
what it is, but
yeah.
it's so comfy in the reverse grip.
And especially with enough purchase on the backside to actually rest your thumb very, very nicely on there.
Very comfortably.
Your pinky grip now becomes a very secure forefinger grip as well.
Right.
And again, with the intentions in mind of what this knife was made for, you got to give it credit for where credit's due.
Oh,
thing, right?
blade geometry. Speaking of that, they did not go crazy with the thickness of the stock to begin with, and it tapers out beautifully towards that tip. And thinking about just slashing through something with
The
that,
tip and the edge, yeah.
very nice job, very great cutter.
And I think that's the difference with the intention behind the knife being more of that martial arts tactical style. This isn't a war knife. This isn't an Adamas or an M16 or something that you're going to be prying and breathing. This is very much a last resort type of cut, I can worry about the edge after it's all said and done. It's not like I'm going to have
And I
to
mean, XHP, you can strop that shit up pretty quick, right? Like,
something I'd like to dabble on is the gross brown. Oh my goodness, the gross brown.
okay, but
I've seen several of the 100 Pacer snakes, and they vary in color. You guys had options, and you went with the same gross brown that you put on your folding Puko, the same gross brown that was on the Southern. I hate it. I hate it so much.
They had extra.
Yes. I do like the pattern. I think that's super cool.
Oh, the milling
My
pattern.
favorite
is
thing about that
extremely
knife
well
is
done.
that pattern.
And the fact that they left that little disc for the pocket clip to rest on.
Now, on the note of the disc, the actual snake itself apparently has black round spots on its underbelly, and this pattern is on the top. So I understand that it was a darker brown, but if they had made that black as like a little extra homage to the animal
That would've been
itself,
very
Would they
cool.
have to do that the same way they do the Digicam stuff, where like they spot dye it
I have
somehow?
no idea.
Maybe.
I'm not
That
a
would,
scientist.
for the price, but for the price point, I think that would have been nice because this is a pricey knife.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, on that note, we should probably talk about the price point on this thing, because
Yeah.
Jimmy, she's steep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
It's expensive.
That this guy is.
Yes, very much so.
To round out, Jesus, yeah.
I mean, there's a good amount of XHP that has to go into the making of that blade. There's a good amount of G10 that needs to be used, and there's a lot of milling involved.
Internal steel liners.
Right.
As well, and skeletonized steel liners to reduce weight, which, I mean, we also haven't brought up for how big this knife is. Weight's not that bad. It's a little weighty. It's
It's
not
a
bad.
big knife, though,
Yeah.
so you can expect a little bit of weight.
But yeah, price.
MSRP American is like 350, 380,
Yeah.
somewhere in that range.
So the thing that really confuses me about the price is this was designed by a knife enthusiast from like the forums or something. It wasn't even a knife designer. How much royalties do you think that guy's getting, and would it be comparable in like?
Why is it so expensive?
Because that's usually why we can see the justification as they're paying for the royalty.
Part
to
of the
designers.
proceeds goes to anti-venom. Okay?
Oh, okay, cool.
Does it actually?
No.
I got two of them.
Totally.
Full of garbage on that. Like, it's,
That was fantastic.
You could have
sir.
run with that for a lot longer, man.
Well,
Congratulations.
no, but I liked it. It was good.
For the runtime we got, probably better than it is.
It could end it there. It was fantastic.
That was great.
And I don't want to get sued from some false claims.
Okay, so do you know how the Johnny got involved with the designing knife? Was that through the forums, or was he a big name Spyderco
You
collector?
probably know more than me being on the
Yeah.
forums more than I
Okay,
am.
fair enough.
So I'm not 100% sure.
Nerd.
I'm not so much on the Spyderco forums. I really should be, but yeah, it is kind of perplexing that you're not a big name designer, but you end up with this expensive of a knife.
And I like how he denied the thing about the Spyderco forums, but not the nerd. Carry on.
Well, no, I know what I am. Come on, that too.
Something else that got pointed out, and I 100% agree, is how sharp
Oh,
Tai Chung
yeah.
made everything. Plunge grinds, spines, holes, liners. Apparently just a hint of chamfering on the liner, but it still doesn't change the fact that that detent is a pig that you can't get over either, right? Like it's, so.
As a tactical knife, I'm okay with it. As an EDC knife, it would be nice to see those tramplings.
I was gonna say that hole makes sense for a tactical knife.
If you're gloved or
Just if you want to guarantee a positive operation of that knife, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, part of the fit and finish docking on some of our scores as well, at least for me, was the blade being as aggressive as it is in many places. Which again, and in reverse grip, like even the spine of that knife would come in very handy any
Very
sort of
much
joint
so.
manipulation.
Oh
that you
yeah,
want to
like
do.
hooking, grabbing, twisting.
Hypothetically, because we live in Canada and we have to state that before we have this conversation.
Once again, the disclaimer. Yeah. I mean, well constructed otherwise. Personal gripes aside, preferences aside, it's built well, which is nice to see.
Yeah.
But I mean, this isn't something that Taiwan is unknown for. They do a good job.
My favorite part about this knife, legitimately, in that milling, the scale pattern that they put on there, the fact that they cut through the first layer and didn't cut through at all through the second layer, like it's all
to keep that nice
two-tone.
contrast.
Yeah, it's
So you get that two-tone.
perfect.
The one exception to that spot is the round hole,
Of course.
which the reason they did that in the first place is for the wire clip to slide in and out of. If you see a lot of grippier knives out on the market, aggressive G10, things like that, that they don't have any sort of relief
Cold
area.
steel does that a lot.
Yeah, if they pull a cold steel, it'll rip your pocket up. Right?
Yeah, for sure. I found this to be very positive, like positive hold in your hand with
Right.
the texturing, but there's nowhere near the amount of texturing that even like a paramilitary or any cold steel that's in G10.
It's not like sandpaper against your skin.
No.
This is a lot more.
Smooth texture. It's really nice.
And one of the kind of controversial points that some of us have noticed with like other reviews and just playing with it is the width of the handle.
Yeah.
As far as the tactical sort of operation of it, it is a definite good thing because it will help lock in and not allow it to twist as much.
Rotation will be restricted for sure.
But it is definitely a hindrance to people with smaller hands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it. I mean, I wouldn't have the issue, but we were watching a review earlier tonight where the person's hands was so small that they could barely get their fingers past like the halfway point, and they wouldn't have had positive retention of that knife.
Well, the problem is that
You need some apple pickers.
you need
Yeah.
some decent hands to make
Yeah.
that grip worthwhile, right? And yeah, when you do have it locked in, I can understand exactly where Spyderco was going with this knife,
Right.
for sure.
Size and pocket. This knife actually kind of surprised me. It's not the absolute worst Spyderco I've ever put in my pocket, but that forward-facing part of the blade here, when the knife is closed, definitely it pushes against the seam of your pants, and it's weird.
Like, it's over 2 inches wide there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a wide knife, and it's flat. I mean, so at least it's not going to be like super bulgy, but it definitely pushes you in a weird way.
If you have hands my size, you can actually fit this knife in the pocket with your phone beside it and actually pull your phone out of the pocket.
There's no way I could
No,
use
I
it.
can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Not
that does
even
not
close.
happen.
Yeah, no, it works really nice actually.
And I will give it credit for the weight that it has compared to the size of how big it is. Compared to, we were talking about a 456 or an Adamas
Right.
or even my Contigo type of thing. This guy's a good ounce lighter than any of those options.
Yeah.
Thin stock, skeletonized,
Yeah.
G10. Yeah.
But I could crank on any one of those as far as a workhorse option way, way more than I could this particular knife because of how
Right.
purpose driven it is.
Very
right?
much so, yeah.
One other note, if we've got, I will also say that for a while there, the 100 Pacer snake, I did some homework on the actual snake itself. There's some regions that actually do call it a 50 Pacer as well because of how venomous the snake is.
And in that case, you would need 86 of these. Oh, no, it would be the... No,
It'd be
yeah.
half.
Yeah, half, not
20s,
double.
143 or something like that type of.
Well, it was 43 knives for the length of the 100 Pacer, so it would be half. So it would
21
be...
and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we pick this half as Joe was saying earlier?
Yes.
But yes, what I was also kind of joking about is although fatalities have happened with the 100 Pacer snake, there's not that many. So it's not common.
Evidently, it's a fairly common snake. They have a lot of anti-venom, right?
Yeah, that's the homework that I did was apparently there's a bunch of anti-venom out there because it's such a common viper that's out there.
So they don't actually need the proceeds to go towards anti-venom because there's already enough.
They got it covered. Man. Yeah.
We should have known that.
I know,
we
right?
talked about it.
Oh, geez.
Right. So yeah, gonna give a big giant thank out once again to our buddy Mark for lending us this knife to review.
Thanks, Mark.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's a unique one. We had fun with it. That's for sure.
It is definitely unique.
Yes.
It is not something we would have been able to handle otherwise. Ultimately, the other day.
And I asked him even did you get a chance to handle it before you decided to purchase it or what? No, I just wanted it. Like, cool, man. I can respect that.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been there.
Yeah. Gonna remind everyone that we have the Patreon going, so head over there and support us in any way you can and willing to do so.
Yeah, I'm going to do some giveaways coming up soon here. I did say on our Instagram channel, once we get 500 followers, we will be doing a giveaway.
And we're over halfway there, guys. So
As of the recording, so
Yeah, for sure. And it's not just going to be the one knife out of my collection. We are going to make it a little bit of a gift package giveaway type of thing. So
fancy.
yeah, it'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, go follow us over at the Pokey Factor on Instagram.
Please do.
Get some behind the scenes, some shenanigans.
See all the shenanigans.
Yeah.
Yes. All the bacon.
All the bacon.
So much bacon.
Moose loaf.
But yeah, now that we're done confusing you, definitely check out the Pokey Factor Instagram so you have an idea of why we're confusing you or what we're confusing you with.
And if that didn't confuse you, we should just sign off.
We should, because, yeah, this is Nigel the Smith signing off.
I am who I am. I'm Dennis Vipers.
I am the Iron Joe.
And I'm XL.ca.
We will catch you again next week.
We don't need